Okay. I'd like that. If you're gonna go down, you might as well go down hooking, or just pick
Whoa!
Shadow Fiend. That's another very EEU pick. We talked about the press kit. That's probably one of the stand-up players from Pari Parni. Big Shadow Fiend believer. Not always successful because the hero is not the best, but he still believes in it, and he has carried games solo. Tell me some of the strengths of this hero, Trent, especially when you don't
Oh,
know the matchup mid. What can he do besides
all
win the
right.
lane?
Well, this was always my favorite hero to cast. I always say it's always been Shadow Fiend because
Ah,
I
good
started
thing you're not
watching
casting.
Dota around like 2012, 2013. So that was like triple raise mids. Every
Yeah,
game was Queen of Pain mid versus like Shadow Fiend or Puck or Lina, and it was hype. And that was like
yeah.
what the whole game revolved around. Whenever you watch a pro game, the camera just sat mid. We didn't actually look at the side lanes. You know, that's just what it was. So I was very excited when Shadowfiend comes back. Now Pudge has since replaced that because it's like, well, Shadowfiend sucks. I didn't think I'd even see Shadowfiend this season. I was ready to give it up for all the Pudge games. But Shadowfiend, he hasn't actually changed all that much since then. They keep buffing him, but it feels like you still play the same, right? You're gonna get your farm. That's the goal. You're gonna get big, join the team. We'll question whether or not. I guess the way I tend to look at it is like, when does the blink fit into your build, and how good is the blink this game versus just like Dragonlance BKB. So I'm a little surprised to see it here. I wouldn't say that it adds up that I don't think its pairing with its teammates is that amazing right now in terms of like the minus armor and stuff. That's like kind of okay. The team fight control with like the ulti, it's a little okay. I don't know about you guys, but I wouldn't say this is like, oh, obviously this was a good Shadow Fiend game.
No, it's absolutely not. And I don't think this is a blink game either, because like what's setting up for the ultimate, realistically? And who are you
Nothing.
killing? When you've got with it
Bushwhack?
as well.
And who are you
Sure,
laning
sure, let's go
against?
with that. Yeah, and who are you laning against? You picked this when they had the option to go for any counter that they could possibly want as well. So I don't know. I feel like this is definitely the build where you want to go Dragonlance BKB, and it's a pretty good Skadi game. You're able to get that in onto the Lifestealer. Then he's obviously a whole lot less effective. You've also got Viper Strike, another BKB piercing slow that's going to obviously have a big impact against the Lifestealer himself. I don't know. I really feel like you just need to be this. We often call like an off-lane Viper this turret that you build Dragonlance and BKB around, but they might have two turrets to deal with now when you've got the Shadow Fiend to pair it together with.
Does this lean you towards maybe Dawnbreaker being carry as being the like the main tank, or do you need another carry here that can be the frontliner here, Danog?
I feel like you don't even necessarily
Oh,
need a frontliner, I don't think. Well, okay, they're going to go for one. There's some minus armor in addition to everything that they already had, but I was really just thinking like, what is this then? Is this like a Viper? Is it a
5, right?
Dawnbreaker 1 and a Viper 5? I
I
think
think
that's
I
what
so.
it
think
is, right?
so. I think so.
Yeah, so I think obviously you're going to have a lot of farm. It's weird, right? You've got this position one where you might want to go into the Aghanim Scepter just because you're going to have the farm to be able to do it, and it's going to punish the Unleash. It's going to do basically nothing. Lifesteal is going to do basically nothing with all that evasion, and same sort of thing with the Visage Birds. So maybe you can just rely on the Shadow Fiend to be the one standing there, just taking towers, sieging, being a beast, being this turret that I was talking about, and then if they engage heavily onto him, you've got the Dawnbreaker ult to be able to turn that around. It's not like they have a Silencer or a Nyx that's going to be able to stop that.
It was pretty cool how they grabbed the Slardar too, because like now they double down on the minus armor. They're gonna go roach really fast if they get that opportunity. That's pretty cool. There's a ton of pressure on the Slardar's initiations. It's pretty much all off presumably him playing the hero. And Outsiders though.
Not bad into the Lifestealer though.
No, obviously. I mean, that's great. That's like the
Mm.
best lane you can really hope for, right?
Mhm.
Assuming, as you said earlier, probably a 5 Mercy. That could be kind of annoying, but it's just like it looks like their lane's just going to be stronger because it's probably Slardar Hoodwink, so should be a good time.
How's
Mm.
Outsiders fix this? What's the last laning pick then? Oh,
Sapphire, obviously, yes.
great
I
pick,
mean,
Trent.
yeah.
What a
What did I
god.
say? Yeah.
Okay, so that's a mid Snapfire. All right, we have seen this. A couple of regions have a large preference. SCA, SA have been the two pioneers in this, but EU joining the mix as well. GPK has done this before as well on the mid Snapfire.
Looks
What
like
are your
it's
thoughts on
a
this?
5 Hoodwink, actually. Sorry to interrupt the Snapfire train of thought, but I'm just thinking maybe they were just wanting that stun to prevent the TPs away or more easily
No,
set up for
immersion.
the.
Immersion's the 5, by the way.
Oh, okay. I thought
Oh
he
yeah, he
was
swapped.
changing around between the 4 and the 5, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's still a strong lane. Snapfire mid, I mean, it's one of those things where you obviously can accelerate your farm with the Aghanim Shard. you are going to have a decent time, I suppose, against the Shadow Fiend. And the thing as well that I was thinking of is, yes, this Visage has the potentially burst down and have a terrible time in the laning phase, but we get into the mid game and look at all the different repositions that they've got, right? And survivability specifically for the Visage. I think they're going to be playing quite heavily around him. You've got the Dispos to be able to save. You've got the Cookie to be able to save. You've got the Infest to be able to save as well. So this Visage, while normally squishy, might actually be pretty good when it comes to that mid-game team fight. So I honestly don't know how to do this. I mean, if Pari Parni come out of the laning stage really far ahead, then I think they can take this. But mid-game outsiders have the potential, if the laning phase doesn't go too bad, to be able to come back into this and win in probably about 35 minutes, I'd say.
Final thoughts, Trent? Would you agree with that?
Yeah, again, the pressure on Pasha to me is like the story of this game because he needs to lead the charge in so many moments. He's the one who needs to like imagine sieging a tower. It probably counts on him like blinking behind or getting a really nice like early slither around through the fog where he catches someone. Then Munkushi comes through and they like take your tower. Then they take your Roche. They take your game. But overall, yeah, I think outsiders have an easier to execute draft, as we like to say.
Okay. Easier execution versus the classic minus armor EEU strat. Which will win? We'll have to find out together with Lyrical and lizZard.
Oh, thank you so much, freaking Avo. And we've got some wonderful action. Oh my God, it's already going on. We're still at the draft up. Crazy action happening in the early goings here. lizZard, they only got like a frame or two of us, but that's all they needed. If we're honest, we're ready for it.
More than enough of camera time for us. The game started in such a good way for Pari Parni. This is what and Trent have been talking about. They need Pasha. There's a lot of pressure on him, right? So giving him, well, a little bit of that bonus experience gold and giving SF. Did SF get? He got both of the kills, by the way. Depressed.
Yeah. That he's not depressed anymore. That's not the first time I'm gonna make that joke, nor is it the last. But guess what? He goes to lane with a bottle now. That's wild. What a great start for the Shadow Fiend.
You usually start with raises and a bunch of mangoes, right? But as he got enough gold, immersion.
Yep, that's going to be another one. So just a lot of blood being spilled right here before the first creeps even end up meeting into each other, as I think it's going to be 2 bounty runes apiece afterwards.
And I've been casting way too many other regions. Not enough Eastern Europe. You know, I have forgotten what it's like to have 3 kills up 0 minutes. Good stuff.
Absolutely. And they're actually swapping around the lanes right now. Hoodwink also going to get jumped on. And with damage there as well as Hakoda, there's going to be a nice little bunch of damage out. And Immersion going to get a couple little pot shots off before he heads on back to the tier 1 tower. So Hakoda's stuck down here now, and this looks like they're actually committed to this full tri-lane versus tri-lane, and this is normally where you'd kind of want the Visage to be, I feel like, right? Like, isn't Visage usually the best when he's in a tri-lane?
Historically, he's been the best in a tri-lane. Right now, perhaps it's still good, you get those soul assumption charges, but you'd still most likely like to get that level 6.
Okay.
The dual lanes are fine as well.
Yeah, they're going to head back up top now. Munkushi taking some extra harassment and almost gets brought all the way down. Man, that Dawnbreaker taking a nice little bit of that damage here. And this is something that you were talking about other regions. Cast in some Southeast Asia recently have been seen both there and here. The Visage, normally in the off lane, DM still playing it, paired together with some other brawler. You just spam out these soul assumptions. It's dangerous.
I've literally been calling for this, I believe, for a year or so.
Oh my god.
Yeah, because the hero, ever since they changed the null talismans, even you go to the lane with long time ago, that is, you'd go to a lane with 1 null talisman and a couple of mangoes. I swear that hero got me like 1,000 ranks. Just
nice.
Just like that. And I've seen it played by players such as 3-3 long time ago. In a similar fashion, just spamming out soul assumptions. But it always takes a while for the whole scene to be ready for that, right? And to pick up on the build. But it's really strong, I agree, especially in the laning stage. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so crazy. And we're gonna have to see if they can keep up that momentum. The panel was talking a lot about like the strength of it in the mid game is towards mid lane right now. Depressed Kid and GPK going toe to toe, and Depressed Kid just took the entire double stacked small camp of GPK. So GPK not going to be too happy about that one, chasing him all the way back to lane, gain as much damage as he can. Not quite at that level 5 mark, but he has to definitely be careful here. Depressed Kid can keep the pressure on. He's 20-0 versus 15-2 on GPK.
Talking about the way to make an SF's lane easy, you don't give him a first blood, you give him double kill. It's no-brainer that he's going to do well, really. But speaking of these lanes, like you mentioned the tri-lane on bottom lane that since then has disappeared, but Slardar plus Viper versus Lifestealer, this should not be this good for Ramses. Like, he's keeping up with the farm. I believe that he should be pressured, like, normally a bit harder, but he's done a really good job at keeping up with the CS.
Yeah, and I think some of that is we're going to see Yamich get the brought down up there on the top side of the map. A quick little blow up. I guess some of that was starting off with 3 heroes down there, getting some good harassment, and I think Immersion died the one time, as you can see Hakoda make the move over towards mid, won't manage to connect there with a catch on the Depressed Kid who's back in the jungle farming. But yeah, he's definitely having a better time, although anytime the Skywrath meet leaves, it's just really tough. Can they get the kill? Down low. Yeah, backs away the rebound. Dude, that spell with the Grave Chill. Suddenly moving at 536 movement speed.
That's insane. Yeah, that's just insane right there. Now I understand why he went to 2 levels of Grave Chill. It's still good, like, overall in any lane. You can max out any way you like on DM's usage, but Grave Chill makes a lot of sense.
Almost got him there with that 3rd swipe, but Yamich with a quick dispose keeps himself alive. Okay, we got a very back and forth one, but right now all of the lanes going very well for Pari Parni.
I think as to be expected, like, they've drafted much stronger lanes overall.
Right.
From the moment they picked the Slardar, I believe that their lanes should be fine, but it always comes to that question, like, okay, what's after? How well can you transform this early game lead into some mid-game presence on the map and pressure?
Right. Yeah, it's something that's going to be interesting to watch if they can make those moves. And I guess, you know, like they were saying on the panel, it's going to revolve a lot around Pasha having a very good start and, you know, making that Blink Dagger timing hit well for them. We're seeing the movement over here. Heaven on Hoodwink playing around the SF, but with Snapfire having level 6, I guess this is where things get a little bit scary for SF. There's a very high kill potential on the very squishy SF.
Oh, he abandoned the lane a long time ago.
Yeah,
he's like, yeah, I'm done with here. I'm not gonna go mid. There was one situation in which Skyrat, around that 4-minute mark, was controlling the water rune, right? He just abandoned.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I'm not even going to contest. I'm gonna go to the jungle, farm up, that's it. I'm done. I'm actually very interested in seeing what the Depressed Kid is going to build. I think it's highly likely that he's going to be that tower that draft panel talked about. Like, he's going to have some Dragonlance, perhaps a BKB afterwards, and with the Slardar, you can actually punish any one of these heroes on the side of outsiders.
And taking Roche is going to be super quick as well. Yeah, it's going to be very nice. 20 FPS game, says GPK. Always love the little bit of cost. It's interesting when they say it in English, right? Like, I feel like that's sort of for the benefit of the viewers a little bit.
Yeah, I'm not even sure what's up with that. Like,
yeah,
every single one of them, but okay, sure. It's for us. It's for us. He's just being very, very kind.
Yeah, letting us know what's happening, what the reasoning is. Lizard, we got another one of an interesting matchup, so we didn't get a ton to talk about it. But Ramses, Pasha, former teammates facing off against each other in the laning stage, and so far, Ramses is having a really good time of it. You talked about like the potential danger that could come out from this lane. He's been able to sort of weather that storm a little bit. Already has the Helm of Iron Will. has been able to rage away when Immersion starts getting too many stacks. I've been pretty impressed with them.
Same, I have to admit, like completely the same. He's keeping up completely with Pasha, and we'll see. Later on, it's still difficult, right? You can't get rid of Corrosive Haze.
Press Kid gets the ulti off to break the Snapfire ulti, and that keeps him alive. And then they take down Yamich afterwards. Oh, nicely done.
Was that GPK's mistake to be that close by?
Maybe,
Or,
yeah. I guess contesting for the rune was his goal there. But yeah, a little bit of a misplay.
Still though, depressed kid. You can do your joke again if you want to, but or I'll steal it. It's like, yeah, I don't know why there's a lot of these very sad nicknames coming from Eastern Europe. I mean, I
Right.
do understand why. It's all gray and
Yeah.
Soviet buildings everywhere. I was sad growing up as well. I was a sad kid too. Not depressed, but sad, you know.
Right. I just thought it was the
can see
Dota
it.
player world, in general.
It just gets amplified by Dota, you know.
I gotcha.
For us from Eastern Europe, Dota is even the happy place. So that's how bad it is.
I feel ya. I remember for a while he was depressed kid dot girl name in his avatar, which I thought was very, very just the most Dota thing ever. Really good.
So it's not only the region he lives in, it's also a girlfriend plus Dota. Yeah.
Yeah,
Immersion. About to be a
Going on
sad
in.
boy.
Cookie, Chase, Scatter, Blast, turns now. Friend, where would you go? GPK, why did you abandon me? Poor Hakoda. He's gonna get ran down there and taken down. GPK, probably the right decision to run away, but wasn't able to get the finish on the Viper.
When you look at both the Hoodwink and SF, we're circling around. So if GPK stays, he most certainly dies. Good job that he left. Even if Immersion fed, Yamich.
Moves on in, trying to drop the ulti down. Is it going to be enough, though? Not quite on the mark with the kisses. And in fact, Evan will eventually get chased down there with the haste rune on the Marcy, but they weren't able to find the kill on Immersion afterwards. So another chance of this Viper able to survive through the big initiation.
It was such a nice play from Yamich, though. He slows down the Hoodwink, then he disposes Viper into Mortimer's kisses. He's like, you go in the kisses, and you go in the kisses, and you're gonna get hit. Sadly,
Right.
doesn't get both of the kills, but it doesn't matter. Immersion's job this whole game, and why this Viper was picked, is Nether Toxin, really. Basically, all you have to do is spam that Nether Toxin on the Visage. Destroy his passive. Once you do that, the birds fall very easily, so... Visage should not have an easy game.
No, that's going to be very annoying. I mean, it's even like if the other toxin's not there, poison attacks burn through it pretty quickly anyways. Pasha going to get caught here. Does have the crush, turns with the stun. Good chunk of damage there. The bushwhack afterwards. Starting to beat down Ramses even with Immersion moving over. He doesn't have Infest. We'll go for the rage after the bash. Tries to walk away for Pasha. Another round and the slow is there. He's going to go down. Ex-teammates facing off and Pasha comes out on top.
You're stuck here with me, I'm not stuck here with you guys. That's what happened right there. And perfect example of why Slardar just destroys Lifestealer, right? Like, you can't man-fight him. You want to, but you cannot. You get bashed, you have minus armor on yourself. If you don't rage, you get crushed as well by Slithering Crush. It's not a great place to be as Ramses. He still has some farm, that has to be said, but from the moment we praised him, he's fallen off.
That's the classic, really. I mean, we did it to him. That's our fault. But it's okay. I'm sure he'll be able to persevere. Smoke up top. Seeing who they can find. It's a quick little look at Mankushi. Does have Solar Guardian if they don't have the full control. And we'll see if they end up catching him or just gets away with Celestial Hammer. Drops the ulti afterwards. And with Disposed and the bird drops, that's going to be more than enough. So Dawnbreaker will drop. This is, again, the position 1 Dawnbreaker going right now into the Echo Saber. We'll see if that ends up working out for him.
Yeah, the amount of damage that they have, the amount of burst damage, you just cannot survive that. Interesting that they decided to put this Dawnbreaker on quote-unquote position 1, right? It was on the offlane, but it doesn't matter. He's still getting the farm priority. Yeah, we'll see how much he'll be able to do. Like Dawnbreaker right now in every single region that I'm watching, it's either a 4 or an offlane, and you go into that axe build, and the axe build is just broken. That stuff is... it wins team fights. It basically wins team fights, so...
Yeah, and I mean, I know that the panel was talking a lot about this like Visage Marcy combo and how strong it is. I haven't got to see it yet, as the birds are going to drop again, break that Starbreaker. But I will say that having the evasion there will definitely be a nice part, and certainly not going to be great if they catch DM right out of the get-go. Disposed to dodge. Oh my god. Damn it, saving the life one time. Will pay for it with a quick little bring down, but I think the DM also dies here. Trying to get away, pops the ultimate, and the fear comes out just in time.
Maybe even the Sky. Hoodwink has caught him, but he's kind of fast, right? Like he should be able to get away.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to get out of there. They also can't get the birds finished. Although, Coda still sticking around. They'll get the bounty and get out.
It's one of those best examples. Let's try and save him, and then we all die with him. Well,
right.
another hero died, not all of them, but they also lose the tower. Are they pressuring bottom? They are. So they're pressuring bottom without rotation. That's something that's pretty nice for outsiders, as they didn't have to commit as many heroes, right?
That part's definitely good and very important for them, as GPK throwing the last little bits of minus armor onto that tower, wants to send in the birds bit by bit to whittle it down, but not going to be able to finish it off. I mean, outsiders have done a really good job of keeping the pressure onto the towers, but taking this mid one's going to be probably a pretty big effort from them, I would imagine, unless
it's very
Pari
low,
Parni
though.
for some reason. Yeah, they might just be willing to go for it.
It looks like they will. With the little shredder and the birds, I think this is already the timing.
Well, got him stunned. Use the glyph. Cookie on the birds. Finds the hoodwink. Not bad. Crush afterwards, but they get the bird drop first. Now, looking for the rebound. Dispose is there. Drops the ulti, but Pasha will not fully fall. They get the crush and will kill off both of those birds rather quickly. So they are able to keep the tower alive for now. Do they go for more? GPK jumps forward. And never mind. Resummon and the kill. Now the Hex is looking for the rebound. Dispose for more. Marcy just keeps going. Pasha throws out a corrosive haze, but there is no follow-up. Yeah, when you get this combo of like the cookie and the rebounds with the Visage, this is looking really cool.
Yeah, everything on those birds, and it's just so simple, so easy to stop kills. This is the problem we talked about, right? Lane is really good, but what's going to happen after lane with Pari Parni? There's just so much damage on outsiders. They don't even need items. Like,
right.
These heroes literally just need levels, and they will nuke you down. Meanwhile, on the side of Pari Parni, you need to buy yourself some time to get those BKBs. Once those BKBs are up, things may change. But you mustn't suffer too many casualties, like, too many kills, right? By then, like, you have to kind of push it through.
Right. It's definitely a, buy the time to get those items on live. And they are getting closer to them. You know, you've got, at this point, 2 components of the BKB for Depressed Kid. You can see Dawnbreaker going into the Shard first. That's going to be the magic community there. And Slardar is about halfway as well. But Outsiders definitely strong right now and can keep up the momentum if they want. Do you think they will try and get one, like the top tier 1 tower too? Or do you think it's just like more control the map, find some pickoffs?
Well, looking at their rotations right now, they're certainly moving towards the tier 1 on top lane. There's a haste on GPK as well, so should be fine here, right? Or maybe...
Oh, maybe not. Dawnbreaker ulti comes in afterwards. The Crush dead. Okay, stepped a bit too far forward. A rare misplay there by GPK.
So he has a blink and a haste, right? And because of that, he might also be thinking that Slardar is alone. Yeah, a small mistake, but that small mistake, let's say it's not as small as it looks like. It's just 1 kill, right? But not really. You're supposed to be pressuring at this point. You're supposed to be slowing them down, not letting them reach those BKB timings that we talked about. it definitely doesn't help their cause to feed their mid laner like that.
Right. Well, and on the other hand, you've also got this life stealer for Ramses that's gone for this Midas, as they will run into each other there. Coda, Image, the rebound. Dude, he gets away again. So freaking fast. And now Cookie, Mushi taking some good damage. They drop the ulti afterwards. The rebound pulls it back over. Prescott, hop in the ultimate, will kill off Image, but dies afterwards. And that is another couple quick ones. I mean, still chasing. Cookie off the mark. Hoodwink over to the side. Yakota taking damage from the tower. And back behind the tower, in fact, the birds are going to have to be resummoned. So again, another very fast move from Outsiders.
That was even Pari Parni's move, right? Like, they smoked up into it,
Yeah.
and they got punished hard. Why? Because there's still a tier 1 tower on the mid lane. GPK TPs to it, joins the fight so easily. And again, like, I have to say, this position 1 Dawnbreaker is not my thing. I'm not the biggest fan. If you had anything like a Jug or some normal carry, I feel that the game would be much easier for you. But yeah, they're struggling a little bit right now. We'll see what happens when all those magic immunities do come online for them.
Right, they definitely need it to even be like slightly competitive, because right now it's just not looking great. But only a 2K gold lead, so I guess that's something else. Like, for how much they're dominating each of these fights on Outsiders, I would have imagined that the lead would be bigger than this.
They have what? They on the side of Outsiders, they even have less skills than on the side of Pari Parni, all things
Right.
considered. It's just that these kills on Pari Parni came early on in the lane.
Yeah, definitely.
They have a lot of breaks as well. I talked about, well, a lot. I talked about the Nether Toxin. There's also the Hoodwink Sulti, right? So there are ways of dealing with the passives on the side of Outsiders, and I'm wondering. Okay, I don't have to wonder. He went Hand of Midas into Manta into Dazo on Ramses.
Yeah.
Okay. It's definitely a different build. It's not a standard lifestealer build, but he's adapting to the heroes that he's playing against.
Ooh, and look at this, into the pit. Recognizing that there's a couple heroes down bottom, they're not going to be able to contest it, and this Roche Ball is so fast. So first Aegis, one of Prescott.
If you just check his other items, and Slardars, and Dawnbreakers, that's the timing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, they've got pretty much all of it right now together. And, I mean, you obviously would still love to see a blink onto Slardar, as Kushi going to get chased. Can't quite find him, though. But, you know, this is still going to be a real, like, heavy pressure that's coming on in. And Prescott might even take that level 15 talent for Presence or Effects buildings, depending on how things go. Let's see what he decides to go for here.
They're losing towers so fast.
Yeah.
That tier 2 just melted. Did you see that?
That was insane.
Yeah.
Yeah, they take them incredibly quickly. Doesn't exactly bode well.
If you lose, so basically what it means, right? If you lose one single team fight, stay by to your high ground.
Yeah. Likewise, though, you did see how quickly they're able to take the other one. As my God, GPK takes down the Dawnbreaker just like that. That's all it takes. It's just a minute. Didn't even need the ulti.
And that's with them having the Aegis as well, right?
Yeah.
That's them losing their position 1. Well, look, I would argue that the true position 1 on the side of Pari Parni is the SF. Like,
Yeah.
Slardar, Dawnbreaker, they're the sidekicks. They're kind of there, but
Radiant's bottom tower is
I feel what you mean there, definitely. We'll get the armor corruption talent now, also on DM for the Visage and the Familiars all. So extra minus armor going to be very, very annoying to deal with going into that AC. So both teams pretty heavy minus armor focus right now. And definitely for Pari Parni, there's nobody that's going to be getting an AC anytime soon. So that feels like an amazingly strong timing for Outsiders.
oh, it certainly is. Like, DM's birds are going to hit extremely hard. But I guess both of these teams have heroes that naturally build into minus armor, right? Slardar SF, on the other side you have this Visage. It's you either have to build more armor or minus armor, so it's better like this. Just go full offensive. I like
Right. Absolutely. Playing around this high ground, they don't have a ward in the area. Immersion's hanging out this side, as well as Pasha up top trying to finish his Blink Dagger. So both teams kind of just splitting up the map right now. Is Makushi gone at again? No.
I guess one of the things that also panel talked about is pressure on Pasha to not only be this hero that control Pasha. Let's see. Okay.
Get him. Done. Full combo. Damn. 0 to nothing. That's all it takes.
There's definitely more and more pressure being mounted on him. But
Yeah.
he's farming in sort of a dangerous area, and he needs his Blink Dagger. Before he gets that Blink Dagger, they can't really move on the map. They aren't making any big rotations.
Yeah.
But once he gets it, perhaps that will be timing for them to make some smoke plays.
Yeah. That death definitely sets him back, because it would be right about now, and this is right before that AC comes out and online, which obviously, again, is going to be really, really helpful for surviving against this minus armor strat. So will be another little feather in the cap for Outsiders here. Do you think that, like, based upon how this is going, it's just, I mean, everything looks like the last couple of minutes been Outsiders, but when they hit their timings, do you think Pari Parni can still fight them pretty well?
I'm just waiting to see one good clash
Okay.
show up, right? Like I believe it comes down to the way these two teams initiate. As you could see, Outsiders, they can blow you up, any single hero, from 100 to 0.
Right.
And I'm pretty sure same can be said for Pari Parni, but they need to get to that Blink Dagger. After that, it's still kind of an even game, I would say.
Okay. Well, they have it right now, and Pasha also has a bash prepped, ready to go. So they're going to head down here. Can they get Immersion away? The birds are chasing. This could work really well for them as they pop the ulti afterwards, trying to get him with the Solar Guardian. Keeps him alive. Will take down the Marcy afterwards. GPK in trouble. Bash dead. That's all it takes is a second. Can they find any more afterwards? It doesn't look like it.
It was a nice attempt because Aegis was being reclaimed. They basically timed the Aegis perfectly. They smoked up. But that's not the hero that you want to go on like that.
Yeah.
The moment you use the silence, Dawnbreaker is free to use Starbreaker. The moment she uses Starbreaker, you can't kill her anymore, right? Like, she gets that BKB.
Look at this. I mean, they're going to take the mid tower. Depressed Kid about to finish off a Daedalus. And this is going to set up for an interesting little couple of minutes here, right? Like, before that Aegis comes around, do you think Outsiders want to try and take over this area? Because I feel like if Pari Parni gets a second in the pit, it's just going to be gone.
And they take it so quickly. Both of these two teams do,
Yeah.
right? We'll see. There is a Desolator almost about to be completed on Ramses. So, what, 600 gold more? 500?
Yeah.
I feel like this whole game I'm just waiting for that one extra item. Like, on both sides. They smoke up without it. Okay. Let's see if they can make a play.
Lifestealer inside Yamich right now. Does have that Blink Dagger on the Marcy. Who are they going to find? It looks like Hoodwink and Slardar are in the area. They're going to go right behind him, actually. Spots him afterwards in a quick and easy jump. So a little bit, you know, off with the movement there as, man, Ramses is just getting chunked by Depressed Kid. That haste run.
That damage. Yeah.
Yeah.
The movement wasn't perfect, but when you look at the way the rest of his teammates positioned, it was 100% that they knew smoke was coming.
Yeah.
Hyper, SF, Dawnbreaker, they were all kind of hiding in the trees. So they expected that, and Slardar was, okay, go and scout for us, please. Go check out if they're out there.
Right. A little funky, that one. But the good news, obviously, for Pari Parni is that there isn't that like immediate Roche afterwards that they can go for. It's kind of a nothing kill, just slowing down his farm that much further, which already is pretty rough.
I guess for outsiders, it would have been better if they managed to set up vision properly around that area. Sadly for them, it got instantly devorded, and then, yeah, you got a kill, but that's it. Sometimes those smokes are more about the vision. Version.
Ooh, trying to kill the courier that was scouting up high ground. So neither team with any vision over here. They do have one over to the side with a big jump in on top of him. TM caught right at the start. Do they have enough for the kill? Went into stone form. Pacha trying to back away, but the Press Kid goes right on top with the ulti. Blows up DM. A long respawn time though on Roshan. Now the turn, trying to kill off that Dawnbreaker, soaking up whatever damage they can. Dispose afterwards. Preskin keeps punching, will get a triple kill on his Death Requiem. Pasha now turns, wants to find GPK, stunned forward, and with 4 dead, this is actually going to work out well for them. Buyback comes out. Pasha thinking about a jump in, could go for the kill if he wants. Crush afterwards, and dead.
Unlucky.
Oh, that was an insane fight, and that's exactly what I was talking about. You can't really see which way it's gonna go, mostly because Pasha is so underfarmed overall, right? If this Slardar was big, I would argue that the game would be over at this point, but he isn't. They did a really good job at controlling him. It still didn't matter. The biggest thing for outsiders that happened there was Gravekeeper's Cloak active, right? The Message's Shard. It seemingly saved the fight at the beginning. It bought them enough time for BKBs to be dealt with. It also forced the SF into that ultimate, but it still wasn't enough. A great Hoodwink ulti, by the way, on a Lifestealer. If that doesn't connect, if he doesn't die there in that burst, I still think outsiders would have a really good shot at winning the fight.
No, definitely. It was one of those moments that can be all the difference in the world. Jumps forward, bash, crush. Guess what? They're coming in for another one. This is going to be a dieback on Yemich, who gets obliterated. And with that, Pari Parni take him down again. I mean, that's a full like 10,000 gold swing or so within the space of about 5 minutes.
And they gave them way too much right now. That BKB on Munkushi, now level 20 Slardar. Oof. Rush will respawn before Marcy, and I believe, yeah, and the Skyrat. They should be able to run in there instantly.
And they're gonna see it. Call everybody over. Really huge. Anything else that really stands out? I mean, this was also right before GPK got his level 20. He now has it, so the little shredder it uses your attack damage. But this has been a window where they needed this for that last fight.
Yeah, they did. How much does it change Snapfire though here? Because it's some Blink BKB plus Aghanim Shard.
That's fair.
Yeah, right? It's not some crit. It's not some Desolator. It's not going to be destroying you with the right clicks. It still comes down to the way they initiate on the outsiders, but I have to admit, Dawnbreaker, even though I don't like her as position 1, she's still doing an extremely good job of being that pseudo offlaner.
Right.
You just can't initiate on anyone. Whoever you initiate on, she follows up with the ulti, and you have to scatter. Like, you have to run.
Well, now you've got the 50% luminosity crit for her on the talent, and then also the -1 attacks required. So a very, like, just strong timing with so much damage. They're hoping to find a pickoff down bottom. This would be a really big play, and Munkushi is going to show on lane, but could go for that Starbreaker at the right moment. Do they find her right at the beginning? They do. Munkushi gets dropped. So losing some momentum off of this timing, outsiders do a good job of punishing.
It looks like they might even smoke. Will they? They're all converging on the tier 2 mid. I guess they're just bailing. They just bailed. Moved together, abandoned bottom lane. It's actually Pari Parni that smoke out.
What? They don't have buyback on... this is a little crazy. Maybe it ends up working for them. The crush right at the start, but then the runaway with the rage. DM now in trouble, breaking, rebound, Grave Chill, and, well, he's out.
It was a brave attempt, I have to admit. Like, I guess you do have Aegis, so on paper it's still 5v5, right?
I mean, I don't know about this one. I don't know about this one for Pari Parni. They've gone a little bit insane. And Depressed Kid, he's gonna get force-staffed away, but still in trouble. Big ulti from downtown. Thought about the ulti, doesn't go for it. Life Stealer still chasing in, getting healed back up inside there, trying to run in and finish him off. A couple more punches, pops the rage, the bash is out, and then the runaway.
That's all they wanted. They just wanted the BKB charge and you get out. Maybe after you can still fight, so the pressed kid needs to be careful. But with the BKB, with the Satanic, with the Aegis, like, your chances of killing him twice are, they don't exist, so.
Yeah.
But you can really see how much the Slardar matters to Pari Parni. If they don't have him in fights, they just don't have any control whatsoever.
Definitely. And I mean, I thought that with them running in there, they're gonna try and do some like Solar Guardian after the buyback play or what have you, but not opting for it.
He didn't have buyback.
Yeah.
He couldn't. And another thing, we were praising Dawnbreaker just before she fed on bottom lane, as per usual. But she's really strong when the team fights elsewhere. When she gets caught and jumped on, you saw what happens. She just disappears.
Yeah. No, it's definitely a problem. And right now, Pasha is actually gonna show down bottom. I kind of thought that they were gonna go for a fight elsewhere, but he's gonna have to jump back in with them.
So, if you look at the map, their vision is pretty damn bad. They had almost none. They just set up their first ward. There was another one expiring on top lane, but no one was there then. So they thought, okay, if we put Slardar on bottom, maybe they'll go on him. We can clear our jungle and counter attack. Plus, he can come to us fast with the sprint. It was it was a normal plan, nothing.
Okay.
Oh, unlucky, I guess.
Play there, potentially, and they're gonna move on in and take this tier 2 tower down a little bit. Counter lanes pushing out each on the side.
You see this? You see this pudge? Sorry, like under the tier 3.
What's that?
Dyer's mid tier 3. The oh yeah, baby, that's my pudge, right?
40k hours. I like that. That's really good. Beautiful towers. I can't quite get the angle. There it is. We need to be able to like zoom in on just specifically sprays.
That spray is good. My favorite one right now.
I love it.
And the Cliff Arteezy, obviously.
Yeah, it's a, you know, an oldie but a goodie. Pari Parni holding the high ground. Aegis about to be reclaimed. They know this is when people would be smoking out to try and kill him. So stick together, be friends, and then get the hell out of there.
There are some big items that came out for outsiders as well. The Shivas on Snapfire kind of helps with all the right click coming, right? And also the Basher on Lifestealer. And the Satanic, yeah.
Yeah, Abyssal on the docket for Ramses as they do take that tier 2 tower up top now. So, I mean, again, like we sort of are riding this wave collectively of net worth, but it feels like the only thing that really matters is going to be how these fights work out, who gets the initiation, who gets the vision advantage. And if you win one fight in a good position, it's building. Yeah, they got him. Lakota gonna get bopped here. Even drops the BKB for that. This is not insignificant. This 90-second duration on the BKB countdown, I feel like there's a big window here for outsiders.
Yeah, it's a big one. Once Sky's up, right? When Sky's up for 40 seconds, after that you'll still have an extra 50 of fighting. So completely agree. That's why most of these heroes that weren't so popular came back into the meta. Anything that can deal with the BKB just became significantly buffed, right?
Yeah. We also saw the Courier of Pasha go down. So 2.5 minutes with no AC, though he does have enough money for it to be completed right now. Won't be able to get it. Nice little pick off there by Marcy. GPK getting closer and closer to that level 25 talent for the 3 times mostly shot on the little shredder, and is building into a Shadow Blade also. So jockeying for positioning, finding these items that can change things around a little bit, and a butterfly done on SF. He is so big on the press kit.
Yeah, he's just a beast. There is no MKB, right? I believe no one is buying it even, so it will be pretty damn difficult to kill him. Still though, if he gets initiated and stun locked, they have enough magic damage, magic burst to take him down.
Okay. Ooh, Dawnbreaker finishes the Satanic too. Getting ready for a battle. Crush, big one. Afterwards, though, they can't quite connect. Wanting to find DM broken. He's in the stone form, but with the ulti coming out afterwards, can they kill him off? Ramsey is able to find the finish on the Slardar. Now Yamage comes back in. Dispose is there, but they've already used the Snapfire ultimate. Silence, but still fine for the moment on this SF. The buyback comes from Marcy, and they do still have buyback on Slardar. He can get there if they need to. Cookie,
Nice
force
force.
staff away. Keeping immersion fine. Ramses won't be able to quite get there. Deck and force staff looking for the big old drop down with the SF ulti. And actually gonna have BKB in a second. Needs BKB Satanic. Will pop the ulti right away. Tries to get it out, and it's not gonna matter. They kill off the Preskin. What a huge win for Outsiders, as Hoodwink gonna be stunned, gonna be killed. That's 3 dead with no buyback. This could be huge.
That's just some individual skill coming into play. Really outplayed by the side of Outsiders. So well done. The fact that they halberded that SF just before the Satanic as well completely wins the fight. I would argue that maybe Pasha held that trigger finger a bit too long on the buyback. Like once you start being chased, you have to buy back. If they go too long, you will lose a hero or two, and now even aside.
They might lose more. I mean, they might lose the game.
Yeah.
They're going tier 4s. There's no answer. The buyback, they just finished that butterfly. It's not there. It's over. Outsiders, they're going to take game number 1. Devastation for Pari Parni. Oh, depressed kid, your name has been so appropriate.
You see, like, who are we to question his nickname? He knows. He knows what he's gonna do in the game.
It wasn't even him though. I just feel bad. Poor guy. Oh, jeez, man, that is a rough one.
I remember we were talking about one single team fight, and you can lose the whole base. It was literally what happened. But very unfortunate.
Yeah, that sucks. I feel bad for him a lot there, man. Jeez. Well, I don't even know what to say about that. Like, I guess it's sort of like one of those high octane drafts where, like, if one thing goes wrong, the game can just be over. Some of that is also going in without buyback, which definitely was a little bit wild. Anything that stood out to you in that game that we haven't talked about that much?
Just high octane is the best way to describe it, I would say. We've pretty much covered everything. I would say that buyback on Slardar,
yeah,
you could argue that's the thing that really hurt them the most. Would SF survive? Most likely, then you would have the Satanic. You would at least have a shot of taking that fight. But Outsiders, really, I actually have written them off before this last fight. I thought that they do have the ways of winning, but it was much easier for Pari Parni. And yeah, one single fight, you win that one fight, no one has a buyback, you take the throne. What's more simple than that?
Nothing much. Well, that's going to do it for game number 1. We're going to head to a quick break. When we're back, the panel is going to break down all that action from the first game. See you on the other side of the break.